Once again, Jackie is gone, so Sam and I are stuck in a basement, alone, only able to talk about a few shitty movies. Our lives are tragic and sad and lonely. This is the Charles Bronson Unspectacular special on Stinker Madness.
What's that smell?
I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as fuck. Thirsty as fuck.
Hey, look at me!
Thrill me.
If you come back in here, I'm gonna hit you with so many rights, you're gonna beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Hey, look at me!
No one! Hang on!
It stinks.
Hang on!
Get to the chopper! Stinker Madness.
Hello and welcome to Stinker Madness. It's a podcast where Sam and Justin...
Actually, I'm Charles Bronson.
That's terrible.
It's perfect. Exactly what he sounds like. Hello, I'm going to kill you now.
Yeah, Jackie is gone again. She is visiting her family in St. Louis. Hope she doesn't get shot. I've heard that the food in St. Louis is not good, especially when my sister-in-law makes it. I'm going to throw my sister-in-law under the bus a little bit here. Jackie sent me a text saying that yesterday she had a meat sandwich, just a piece of bread or two pieces of bread, a slice of meat, no mayonnaise, no fixins, nothing. That was lunch prepared for her. Uh-huh. And then in the evening, she had microwave steak.
The microwave steak thing still is throwing me for a loop because I just feel like it's going to end up being kind of a brown hockey puck.
Right.
Like you're not even going to be able to gnaw through it if you wanted to. You're going to be like a dogs would have to fight over it to get it to rip apart.
It's such a weird thing, like a scientific anomaly, like that I am disgusted by it. I'm repulsed by the concept of it. But I need to know what it's like.
I watched a show many years ago on microwave cookery that they showed you how to do things in a microwave without ruining the food and all of this.
All right.
What happens is you end up cooking it on a much lower power. You add all this water in cups to the side of it. By the time you get good at making stuff that doesn't taste like crap in a microwave, you could have made it in a pan a lot faster.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
It doesn't make any sense. Dude, buy an Instapot. You could do a steak in an Instapot and it'd be good.
Well, those are a little spendy. Not everybody can.
We just bought one for $58.
That's not that
cheaper
bad.
than a microwave.
No.
Yeah. So, it does make me think, though. I don't know if you remember or not, but a couple weeks ago we talked about The Fly.
Sure.
And one of my favorite scenes in the first Fly is Grundle. Is it Brundle? It's Brundle. He goes directly from transporting baboons. I don't know where he's getting these baboons, but he's just got access to baboons.
Poachers.
Yeah, he essentially explodes one of them in his transporter. That's his first mistake. He's like, damn it, what did I do wrong? He figures it out, sort of. And then his next scientific experiment is to teleport steak.
He should have started with lead with the steak, right?
Or a plant or anything.
Lead with the dead meat.
But then he gives Gina Davis a Pepsi challenge where he's like, here, try these two steaks. He doesn't even eat his own steak. He knows it's going to be grody.
Yeah.
And she's like, ugh.
Yep.
All right.
This one's bad. Okay, well, it went across though, so I'm going to put myself in there now.
I should be bland steak as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So now anytime I hear grody steak, it's Brundle-Steak.
Brundle-Steak, yeah.
So that's what Jackie's going through. I feel bad for her, and she'll be back next week though. It's her pick, so I'll start putting pressure on her to choose something. Mind you, it is now Nonsensical November, Sam. So
it is Nonsense November.
Not nonsense.
Nonsensical November.
Nonsensical November. Very, very important distinction because nonsense is what we do every week on the show.
Sure.
November is specifically built for movies that make no sense. Like we cannot figure them out. That's where we're going to be.
A
at.
Christmas Carol starring Charles Bronson.
Yeah, right. There you go. Why would that exist? So
I fixed him real nice. They're all full of holes.
It is a Wonderful Life, Mary.
Yep.
That's my Charles Bronson. It's not very good. No. It's more Jim Carrey.
Well, that's It's a Wonderful Life, not A Christmas Carol.
Whatever.
Either way, well,
Yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Does it make
Bronson
you feel good? It's the same thing then.
I don't have your money. It's at Jack's house. I shot Jack 3 times. He's not getting up.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. It is a wonderful life. If you don't get shut by me.
The reason why we're doing the Charles Bronson Unspectacular is for weeks and weeks and weeks. Sam has been, you've been getting the Lindsey Buckingham treatment of not having time on the show. We've had to bump your segment against Sam.
Again, yes. And now we have nothing else to do. So we're like, hey, we got to put in the Bronson segment. I'm like, it's not that good. I just tell you, I just watched like 15 Charles Bronson movies and I can barely talk about them.
Well, you're gonna have to try because we've got plenty of filler to do. So, where are we at on the clock here?
We're only 4 minutes in, so I think somebody's gonna have to die. Yes, well, when we watch these canon movies with Bronson and Norris, they both have this sort of like, they always play the same character.
Right.
They're them.
Right. Which is weird because Bronson was so not, his launching point to being Charles Bronson, he's not very Charles Bronson in Once Upon a Time in the West.
No.
He's like the antithesis of that.
And at the same time, that's sort of his savor, because this is where I start my trek, is right before that.
Okay, all right.
So he does the Dirty Dozen, and at that point in Hollywood, that's all he's getting calls for, is being
Westerns,
the guy with
right.
muscles on the side,
right.
And he still feels like he should be a lead. He'd been a sidekick for 20 years already. He's ready to do leads, and he's almost ready to give up acting, but he goes into Europe and does, in 1968, the two films. And the one that was before Once Upon a Time in the West was Farewell, My Friend, with Alain Delon, who was, of course, in Melville's Le Samurai.
I'm getting pretty not interested already.
No, anyway, Alain Delon's kind of a big deal.
Okay, I've never heard of her. But
So
what's her bust size?
it's a dude.
Okay, good.
He's the French action dude.
What's his bust size?
I don't know, probably. Everybody wears like a 26 shirt.
His
I'm not
name
sure.
is Alain Delon.
Alain. Huh. Yeah, Alan in French is Alain. I actually played lacrosse with a guy named Alain.
Okay.
And he, after
What was
a
his
while,
bust size?
He was a big dude.
Okay, all right.
He was sort of like a little mini Schwaz. It wasn't a mini Schwaz because he was 6'2". He was bigger than Schwaz. Guy was.
He's a mega schwaz.
Yeah, he was a wrecking ball.
Right.
You couldn't like push him down. It was really hard. Anyway, he decided that he was just like, after about the first year of being here, was like, just call me Alan.
Oh, okay.
Even though my name's really
Right,
Elaine.
yeah.
You guys say Elaine. You can't quite do it with the A right, and I'm not Elaine. That's a lady's name. But Alain Delon is a French action guy, and he was sort of blowing up right about this time. So him and Bronson are in this heist picture.
Okay.
And it's very the misapplication of the word psychedelic could be used to describe it, but it's a big hit in Europe.
Okay.
Like in Europe, they really go crazy for Bronson all of a sudden.
So
Once
what do you
upon a
mean,
time
like, why would it be misused? Are you saying that it's too psychedelic or not enough?
Like, if you've ever seen the movie Casino Royale, the first one, that's been directed by like 10 different people, John Huston's in it, and Peter Sellers in it, all that. When they were making it, they're like, well, we're just making a psychedelic picture. You don't have to make any sense. And it's like, it's not psychedelic. You're just throwing a pile of scenes together that isn't
right.
psychedelic.
Yeah. It's not the one that you like with the Jaguars.
The Jaguars?
Yeah, they've got all the XKEs in it. Danger Diabolic.
Danger Diabolic is psychedelic.
Yes. So what I would consider Barbarella.
Barbarella is psychedelic.
And Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
It's something.
So it's weird that you would like latch onto that term for a heist movie.
But they're doing a couple of those weird. They break the fourth wall once in a weird time to do it, and then they sort of just break down other little rules that you're not supposed. They cross lines here and there that are just like, why are you doing that now? This is a weird little heist film. And
well, it's the swinging 60s, baby. We got to
exactly.
do it.
They had
go
to,
fuck
right?
Yourself, right? Yeah.
I'm going to kind of give these a do or a don't as I go down the list. This one is one of the few do's, I'm going to say.
Okay.
Just I'm bitching about it. I'm like, this one's better than the other ones. It's a fun little movie, and it takes a number of twists that you don't really see coming. Some of them, the big ones, you do, but like the whole plot of the movie is sort of a strange thing that you wouldn't think would exist. But that was his sort of spring back into doing leads. He does Once Upon a Time in the West the same year, which was more popular over here.
Right.
Because he does Twinkie with Richard Donner, which is basically Lolita.
Yeah.
Him and a 16-year-old girl. Yeah, that's what I want to see. Bronson falling in love with a 16-year-old. I didn't watch that one.
Pretty grody.
And then Rider in the Rain, which
Okay.
he gets a real positive, real good press off Rider in the Rain. And Rider in the Rain is also Marion Jobert, who is Ava Green's mother.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. All right. What's her bust size? I'm guessing it's big.
No, it's not. She's still hot as hell.
So where the hell did Ava Green get them from?
It doesn't matter,
All
but
right.
that lady is what boners are made out of.
All right.
Like Ava Green is like, you don't have a boner? Here, just look at me for a second. There you go. You're welcome. It is, and this is another one of the do's, but this comes with a real heavy caveat. It starts with a very heavy rape scene.
Okay.
And the movie itself is sort of, it deals with the idea of rape and all of the things that happen with it. And I think it handles it pretty well at certain points. At other points, I'm not so sure. It's open to discussion. But
maybe we're not the authorities to...
we're not the authorities to deal with that. But I thought that there was certain things I was like, wow, this really, you're doing a really good job here. Here, not so much. Bronson is a weird character. And he's like investigating, but he's not being so much nice to this victim. And I think one of the things that where I'm like, I don't know if he's the treatment of the subject matter is because there's one thing that's sort of like, it's a little too truthy. Like he starts goading her to like spill the beans or whatever. And he talks about statistics on victims and how they don't report things.
Right.
And he's basically like, I know you're a victim because you're being too victim-y, basically, in so many words. And you're like, this is kind of heavy right here.
Yeah.
This is some.
I don't know if I want to be thinking about this sort of thing.
Yeah. And I'm watching it at way too late. I thought I was going to fall asleep in front of it and give it another try the next night. And I'm like, oh, this is a heavy movie. And I ended up like watching it till 1 o'clock in the morning when I need to go to the work the next day.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck. But yeah, Rider in the Rain, pretty decent movie. That's a do. Then I watched, and these are also in chronological order, The Mechanic, one of the first collaborations between him and Michael Winner. I think they would do like 6 movies together, something like that. Jan Michael Vincent.
Oh, yeah.
This was, going into this little experiment, I would have told you that this was my favorite movie on the list.
Okay.
It is not.
Oh, right. I got bumped down, huh?
This is... I'm saying because there's a lot of this. If you can deal with Charles Bronson, you're going to do most of these,
Right.
And if you don't like him, you're not going to do any.
You're
of
not
them.
going to touch any.
But I would,
which I don't really like Charles Bronson, and
I would touch Rider in the Rain for you.
Right.
That would be the one that I would say you don't like him at all.
Right.
You should give that one a shot.
Yeah.
If you really like Bronson, The Mechanic's okay. He stinks. Jan Michael Vincent is worse. The story idea is awesome, and it just doesn't play hard or fast. It's just there. This is the
second base.
yeah, it's second base, but it is sort of where I see the beginning of his character that I think culminates all the way in St. Ives later on with J. Lee Thompson. Or actually, I think St. Ives was Michael Winner as well, but this cerebral hero. And him and Norris were trying to do that same thing. They want, these heroes are very cerebral guys.
Right.
They're always working things out. And what that leads to on screen is a guy who's acting in his own mind and just standing in front of a camera doing nothing.
Just looking at something.
Inside of his mind, he's working all this out. He's like, I knew my character is doing all of these amazing things. You can tell he's going through all of the possibilities. But in reality, all we're seeing is a guy standing there.
Yeah, a guy standing
Just a guy standing there. And The Mechanic is the front end of the Bronson just standing there.
Well, I mean, what's Charles Bronson good at? Not much. Although let's just have him stand there.
Yeah.
He's a prop.
But at the same time, it's like he's doing it to himself because by the point of the mechanics happening, he's beginning to call the shots on everything. Jill Ireland is in every one of his movies from there on out. I was like, you have to put my wife in the movie and you have to pay her more than everybody else. And they're like, all right, whatever.
I via the Electric Boogaloo documentary, I heard there that he was not a pleasant man to work with.
I wouldn't imagine.
So his ego was kind of out of control.
He is pretty stacked for an old guy, though. Like that guy kept a muscle tone into his 60s that's fairly incredible.
Right.
After that, he goes downhill like a son of a bitch, but we'll get there.
Okay. All right.
Next up, Mr. Majestyk. This is everyone should do this one.
Okay.
Mr. Majestyk is fun. It's first blood on a watermelon farm.
Okay.
Kind of. It's like the same idea. He's this war hero from Vietnam, comes back, can't get a fair shake, gets in a fight, has to go to jail. He's on like his third chance, and he's bought this watermelon farm out in the middle of nowhere, and he's trying to get some immigrant labor crew to come and help him pick his watermelons.
Is Alyssa Milano his daughter in that one?
No.
Okay, all right.
It's not Commando.
Sounds a lot like Commando.
He doesn't have a watermelon farm.
He lives on top of a mountain.
He like hugs a bobcat or something, doesn't he?
He shares ice cream with a deer.
He shares ice cream with a deer, which is fucking dangerous. And I don't think that deer can actually process dairy like that. So
Really not.
they're lactose.
we killed the deer.
It's lactose intolerant.
There's bodies everywhere. It's just like war.
Yeah.
Also, knife gun.
I'm deer intolerant. I shot that son of a bitch. But yeah, Mr. Majestyk's really fun, and it's also there's a like F-100 or F-150 that they rally the shit out of this truck.
Okay.
And it was so popular that Ford actually used some of the footage in their
cool.
commercials. They're
That's
like,
awesome.
This is what our truck does. Watch this shit. Woo!
Yeah, you can run over people with it.
Yeah. But it's interesting also, it like sort of deals with immigration, 40 years ago, and we're still doing the same thing. Yay.
Awesome work, guys.
Then, of course, is the culmination of the cerebral hero in Death Wish.
Yeah, right.
That I like because I don't mind it being that, so you hate Death Wish.
No, I wouldn't say. I watched 3 of them. I mean, I just think
The first one, though, in particular, you did not like.
They're not good.
No, they're not.
They're not. They're such a whoa about the Death Wish series, that they're very exciting and action packed. They're all pretty boring.
Yeah, 3's less boring.
Yeah, but it has its stale moments here and there
Sure.
too. It's just until he pulls out the mega gun that things get exciting.
Yeah.
In all the Death Wishes, though, I do like the cameos from guys that would go on and later do major things,
Sure.
being villains. And Death Wish 1 is Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum, Death Wish 2 is
Awesome.
Larry Fishburne.
Larry Fishburne, and then Alex Winter in 3.
But I liked Death Wish, and I like Death Wish because he's not good at it. He's bad at killing.
Right.
And he's going insane.
He's also bad at being that character, honestly.
Yeah.
His entire family's dead, and he's just a guy staring.
Yeah. And he did better than Bruce Willis with the same exact material. Good job, Bruce Willis.
Okay, so you like Death Wish.
I like Death Wish, but however, after Death Wish is really when he starts to age, and then it kind of pushes into... Because Death Wish 2 is 8 years later.
Right.
And the writer didn't want to license him the stuff. They made it anyway. He said that the first Death Wish isn't really turned him into a hero when he's supposed to be a very sick man.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
But right after Death Wish, things sort of and actually it works its way up to St. Ives, which is one of the 3 movies that I left out here because they're the 3 that I consider to be good. And that would be St. Ives, Hard Times, the Walter Hill film, which is, I think, very good. But it's not really a Bronson picture. It's a Walter Hill film.
Sure.
And then Telephone, the Don Siegel movie.
I don't know that one.
Telephone's good.
Okay.
Those all sort of happen in here. And then we get to about Death Wish 4 or 2, and then the rails really come off of the Bronson train.
Yeah, he's mostly canon guy now.
Yeah, he is canon guy, and he's just making movies with his wife, just pulling generic scripts off the canon pile. Be like, we're doing this one, honey. And
This is about a pregnant teenager. Yeah, I know.
The chief examples of it are, I think the real one is Love and Bullets. That's even titled in the way that I'm doing a Bronson picture with my wife, Jill.
Yeah.
Love and Bullets. Love and Bullets is kind of a do because it is straight up terrible.
Yeah, okay.
It is real bad.
Right on.
Love and Bullets is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. You can constantly see these, like, points where he's like, let my wife do another character. She's a great actress. Not just a lady with cans that I like. And Jill Ireland's a better actor than he is. But
Yeah, right.
she's not great. She's only capable of certain things, and she's very good at those certain things, and he's making her do all of it. And it's like a showcase of narcissism between these two on screen. And then there's this like mob thing happening. The whole thing is preposterous. There's like this Chicago cop or something.
Uh-huh.
They're like, okay, we're going to get so-and-so to sing on Sweet Tony, whatever,
Okay, right, yeah.
And it's Jill Ireland's his like mistress or something like that.
Okay.
So, and it's Seeger is the bad guy. He's really good at
Bob
it.
Seeger?
Not Bob Seeger. Pete Seeger? Not Pete Seeger.
Chuck Yeager.
Chuck Yeager. Pete Seeger. Fucking the father of folk music. That's who's in this movie. I think he's even dead by the time this was made.
On a long dark highway, straight from Omaha.
Rod Steiger. Jesus.
Rod Steiger.
Way off.
Yeah, way off.
Yeah, Rod Steiger is the bad guy, and he's pretty good.
Uh-huh.
But it's like this mob picture where they're like, okay, well, we're going to have to get her back from Europe. So send Bronson in from Chicago.
Right.
You can't do that. It's like the whole basis of it is completely illegal.
So it's the plot of not the Bees, Wicker Man, basically. Like,
No, because
you're not supposed to be here, buddy.
Wicker Man's freelancing.
Yeah.
The American government
Right.
sends in Charles
Gotcha.
Bronson.
Okay. All right.
And also, this is sort of where he's getting aged, and the movies are starting to happen around him a little bit more than involving him.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the action sequences are just witnessed by his character
Right.
rather than being directly involved with them. After that's Death Wish 2, which is now really, there's even a scene where other police fight this guy right in front of him, and all he does is watch.
Right. Yes.
Things really just start, like, he's not even going through the motions anymore. He's just like, I'm getting money right now.
His motion is to show up. That's it.
I'll shoot a couple guys. That's it, though. You want me to shoot 3 guys? It's going to cost more. Sir, you're the producer. Shut up. Don't look at my wife. Next would be The Evil That Men Do.
Okay.
Now, this one is another, if you want to watch them for just being bad, Love and Bullets and The Evil That Men Do are bananas bad.
Okay. All right.
The Evil That Men Do has so much happening that he's not directly involved with. There's all these, like, cutaways of him staring. Like, well, we have to have you in the movie still because it's a Charles Bronson movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not doing anything, so you should see this stuff as super exciting and look excited. And so there's these, like, bad action sequences and then cutting to Bronson staring at it wide-eyed. And it's, like, the greatest comedy routine ever, but he's not trying to be funny at all.
Right.
He's just trying to be surprised, and it's like Charles Bronson looking surprised is absolutely hilarious.
It seems, I haven't seen it. I would go for that.
Yeah, no, that one I think you should probably do. You should do The Evil That Men Do. The other, and then there's another one in there, the 10 to Midnight, the horror / detective picture. That one's pretty bananas too.
Okay.
But that's on a lot of people's lists.
Yeah.
Of bad movies that you should watch. 10 to Midnight. I will culminate the journey though with Death Wish 4.
Okay.
And it's worse even than The Evil That Men Do as far as him not doing anything.
Right. Now, before you get more into that, is there a surprise cameo from a future star?
I can't remember who it was. Who was it?
I don't know. I haven't seen 4.
I didn't notice anybody in 4.
Okay. There might not be. I mean, Alex Winter's kind of pushing it, honestly, stacked next to Larry Fishburne and Jeff Goldblum. But, star, Bill and Ted's is in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. So good job on that, Alex Winter.
I also, to be honest, it took me 3 tries to get through Death Wish 4 because I kept falling asleep. So I might have missed some of it. I mean, I may have missed the cameo of the guy, like, hey, it's the guy.
Not a good review.
Death Wish 4 isn't very good.
Yeah.
3's where you need to sort of end. There's a 5th one that I haven't even seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems like 3 is where you need to sort of end your Death Wish fascination.
There might not be.
If there is, it's Danny Trejo.
I thought Danny Trejo was in the 3rd one. You know what? I have seen Death Wish 4 because I remember Danny Trejo popping in and then popping out, literally.
Yeah.
I have seen Death Wish 4. I didn't like it.
No, I didn't like Death Wish 4 either.
But
I forgot that Danny Trejo was in
I would
it.
give Danny Trejo
And I watched it
for
like
sure.
last week.
Yeah, exactly. He's not in it for very long.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember now, like, oh yeah, Danny Trejo's in this. And then I forgot that completely because I completely forgot everything about Death Wish 4 other than the name.
Yeah, exactly.
The Crackdown.
Yeah.
By other people that aren't Charles. Well, he kind of goes ham with the shotgun on the tail end of it. The same thing happens in Murphy's Law, which I haven't watched in a while, but it's boring as hell. And all of a sudden he just like has this banana business killing a bunch of people all at once that kind of makes it worth it. Like, oh, Charles Bronson is kicking ass still, not just standing there. And after the Death Wish 5, his career whimpers to an end with the Family of Cops trilogy, which is currently on Amazon, and I'm afraid to watch it.
Yeah, I bet.
Because they're made for TV.
Yeah.
Like Lifetime Network original, Family of Cops.
With Charles Bronson. Oy, oy, oy. Yeah. Now, any of those movies, do you think are episodes?
You could do worse than 10 to Midnight.
Mm-hmm.
You could do The Evil That Men Do's probably going to be something that if I can't, it's like in my back pocket for like, I don't know what I'm going to do this week. I might pull the trigger on that one time.
All right.
But I think somebody could do 10 to Midnight as well.
Okay. Somebody being us.
Yeah, you or Jackie could pull the trigger on 10 to Midnight because it's like a horror sort of. And, Mr. Majestyk is really fun, but I don't know if it's an episode.
Okay.
But it's out of all of them that I watched over the last 3 weeks, that was definitely, Mr. Majestyk was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot more fun than I remembered, and I'd saw it about 10 years ago. And I was like, man, this is pretty wild ride for a Bronson movie. Like, there's way more stuff happening. There's like 3 movies worth of events for a Charles Bronson movie in Mr. Majestyk.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. And they're all streaming on Prime, I'm assuming?
Yes. Okay. Everything that I said, the ones that I left out, like 10 to Midnight is not anymore. It was.
Mm-hmm.
But the other ones that I were giving do's and don'ts are all on there.
Okay.
We talked about Death Wish 3. It's not.
Yeah,
There's 5. Right. But 1, 2, 4, The Mechanic, Rider in the Rain, Farewell My Friend, Love and Bullets. There was a couple other ones in there that I didn't think that were worth talking about because they were just too meh.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you search Charles Bronson on Amazon right now, you got your work cut out for you if you like him.
All right. Well, there you go. We're going to move on. We have a tribute to somebody who passed on the 2nd of November. Famed producer, Hong Kong producer, Raymond Chow left the earth at the age of 91. Not bad.
You got a raw number on how many he put together, how many Golden Harvest did?
Oh, God. I don't. It's so impossible to track, right? I mean,
somewhere in between 400 and 2,000.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't. Anybody that listens to the show knows that Sam and I are huge fans of Golden Harvest. The guy gave us Jackie Chan.
Pretty much.
He also gave us Bruce Lee, which, I understand some people like him. I'm not one of that camp. But I do want to talk about Bruce because I found out an interesting thing. A couple months ago, I watched this conspiracy, late night show, because they're fun. I don't believe any of the shit that's on there, but it's fun.
It was me. I shot Kennedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Son of a bitch.
I shot back.
Third gunman on the grassy knoll. He went down like a sack of rocks. Shot him too.
There was a conspiracy that Raymond Chow had Bruce Lee killed. He had the triads get involved.
No sense.
Yeah, there was I don't know the whole thing, but I do find what's interesting about the cause of Bruce Lee's death because there's some debate about it. There's not any particular perfect diagnosis of what caused the essentially aneurysm that happened in his brain. But I learned while researching this that the guy who wrote the book that Scott Lee movie,
Jason Scott Lee, Dragon,
yeah, but that book, his prevailing theory is that he died of heat stroke. The day that Bruce Lee died, when Raymond Chow found him, was the hottest day in Hong Kong in something like 15 years or something like that. Okay, big deal. Nobody else died. Apparently, he'd been working hard in the apartment, shadow boxing and training for...
He never took a break.
Right, for Enter the Dragon. He was working on that. the weird thing is, 2 months before he died, he had his sweat glands removed from his armpits. You can do that?
Probably not anymore.
I've never even heard of that. But he didn't like how if he was wearing a shirt, he'd have pit stains. He's a sweaty guy. I understand what that's like. I'm a sweaty guy. I don't like having pit stains. I would be totally okay with removing my sweat glands unless it killed me.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, he couldn't sweat out of his armpits. So maybe he was a little. He said that he was feeling dizzier earlier in the day as well when he died. So it seems like a good theory to me.
Heat stroke for a guy that would work 21 hours a day, no matter what he was doing,
right?
That'd get you on a hot day.
Yeah. So there you go.
Even though apparently the family is cursed because his son did get killed in peculiar circumstances as well.
It could have been ninjas.
He got shot.
Well, but maybe ninjas.
They
maybe
snuck in and put real bullets in the gun.
Yeah, and maybe ninjas performed the sweat gland surgery.
Sure.
It's probably ninjas, Sam.
It's probably
Triad ninjas sent by Raymond Chow.
No, that didn't make any sense because Chow had him lined up for like 8 pictures.
Right, yeah.
Like, I'm going to kill this guy. I've got lined up for 8 pictures.
Which I should also give a plug for The Dollop. If you've heard us talk about The Dollop a little bit here and there, listener. If you want a podcast recommendation, totally listen to The Dollop and start with the George Lazenby episode that they just did a couple weeks ago. George Lazenby's career is a fascinating trip.
I really, really, really want to see The Mercenary.
Yeah.
Picture that he decided not to be James Bond for anymore.
Right.
And then bankrolled with $4 million of his own cash.
Yeah. But interestingly enough, after James Bond, he was going to work with Bruce Lee, and they had met like 2 days before he died. Big, huge meeting, lots of plans, and then Bruce Lee died, and then George Lazenby doesn't get to have a real career anymore.
No, and he still made the 4 movies for Raymond though, and the first one was Man from Hong Kong,
right?
And they brought in Jimmy Wang Yu.
Yeah, right. So fantastic stuff. We're gonna talk about some streaming do's and don'ts after Sam's
Bronson.
Starting out with a movie we've got to address. 54 Metacritic score, 51 on Rotten Tomatoes. Skyscraper, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, is currently for rent everywhere. It's not free yet, but it's for rent everywhere. 50. What?
Who gave this a good review?
I don't know. I don't know how you can.
No,
it's awful.
It's not even fun for a bad movie.
I think it is. I'm going to give it a do, but I enjoyed it a shit ton more than the other
San Andreas.
San Andreas
is a don't.
It's a don't. But it's not a major do for me. It's skip it if you want to, but it's going to make its appearance on the Smabfest for sure because. Yeah. It's, again, we asked this question when we watched the Hurricane Heist. We were like, I guess they still do make them that bad. I mean, it's that level. Like, what did anybody think during the process of this at all? No. It's just got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in it. That's enough to pull in $100 million, isn't it?
Yeah, we got Nev Campbell. She puts butts in seats, doesn't she? Wait, who? No, really? Where was she? Was she in Ohio? Where did you find her?
She's still stuck in the 90s. The script is terrible. The action is stupid. At no point is physics even a thought in this film. Like, there's so many nope, that didn't happen. Nope, that guy's dead. And then, like, the entire plot of the movie is arguably the worst heist that's ever existed.
And that there's just too many times where you could go, why didn't he do this? And then none of it would happen.
Right. And the only excuse for the entire plot is to light a building on fire. That's it. It's an excuse to have a building on fire. So it's essentially what I affectionately like to call the Towering Differno, because it's Die Hard in Towering Inferno, basically. Yeah. And all of it sucks.
It all sucks.
So you're a do not on Skyscraper, Sam.
You know what? I didn't like it.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. Like, I can't argue with that. I put it in the do category because, again, it's that, they still make them this bad.
Yeah.
That's something.
I see. I like the Hurricane Heist is due for me in that one because I liked that one's inconceivably bad and has nobody in it, whereas this is just
a vehicle.
I got tired of the oatmeal being in my mouth.
Yeah, right. Exactly. No, I can see that. Moving on. The Escape Plan 2, Hades on Netflix. Whoa.
Wait, what happened? Wait, what happened in between this one and the last one?
Schwarz wasn't involved. That's what happened. Yeah, still starring Sylvester Stallone.
Who will do anything at this point?
Yeah, right. He's shitting out turds like nobody's business.
He's not saying no.
Right, exactly.
But if he said no to this one.
Yeah, he needed to say no to this one. This movie is garbage.
I didn't think if you've got Creed happening on one side of your production ability.
Right.
And then this? What is that?
I mean, like, dude, I understand The Expendables 3 was not good. None of the Expendables movies are. And you got hacked and it was released early and, you know, all that. And you lost your ass on Expendables 3. But if you just need to work, just go with Expendables 4. Escape Plan doesn't need to be a series. Like the first one, I think is a really strong movie. We were surprised by it.
I was very surprised
Stallone
by it.
and Schwarz, it's going to be silly and goofy. And I thought it was a pretty clever heist film.
It was fun anyway.
Yeah. And then this
is a mess.
It's a mess.
And I don't still understand what it was even about.
They have to break into prison
to
break out of prison. But the prison that they break into has robots.
It's like an Outer Limits episode.
Uh-huh.
But the Outer Limits episodes are more better. They're thought out a little bit better.
Like the robots, it's almost like a cyberpunk prison where they're at, but but the movie is trying to strike this very serious tone about how tough it is on these guys.
Yeah.
But there's like glowing robots and shit all over the place.
Yeah, I think there was.
Doesn't make any fucking sense, and you're like, what is this visual element mixed with this thematic statement?
Didn't Odo get himself imprisoned at one point?
Odo? You mean
Deep
from
Space Nine?
Deep Space Nine?
I think that this is an episode of Deep Space Nine that they just regurgitated and then had a karate guy in it.
Right, yeah.
And there was some fighting, but it's this like weird future world that doesn't exist, and it's not the future. The prison is still incomprehensible to its existence to me.
Right.
And then it's supposed to be like a revenge piece at the same time with this other character.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's a train wreck, and it stinks. And you know what? I hate to say it. Don't. I didn't like it at all. I thought it was a little tough.
It was Asylum visual effect quality.
Exactly. And Asylum storytelling level, like nothing
no,
really transpires.
At least they have conversations that make sense within and of themselves. They're about nothing, like makeup and things like that.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, this thing was just, I don't understand how he could make one so bad.
So what's the verdict, Sam?
I didn't like it.
So
I think it's a don't.
Okay, all right.
Unless, I mean, it's due if you want to see how bad he can do. Like it's bad.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a shame because it won't make its appearance in the SMAPFest, even though it's from this year. But it was a straight to VOD.
Yeah.
So no, doesn't qualify. But otherwise, it would arguably win worst bad movie. Last but not least, we checked these out today. Since Jackie's not here, we're going to talk about them now, so she doesn't say I didn't watch those. Yeah, no duh. Martial Law 1 and 2, starring Cynthia Rothrock throughout.
Kind of.
I love Cynthia Rothrock. I don't give a fuck, dude.
Absolutely.
I don't think she's pretty, and that's okay.
It's
but
weird.
she's
not unpretty though. Either.
She's not. She's not unpretty. But you watch these Cynthia Rothrock movies, and it's clear that they're like, we love this lady because she's the hot chick that we can sell and kicks ass, and it's just so silly because she does kick ass.
Yeah.
But how they darling her up is so just like, stop it. Nope. Stop it.
She picks her own clothes.
I think so too.
And I think that she actually tries to pick clothes that draw attention away from her figure rather than to it.
Why would you do that? She's got a great body.
That's why that's exactly, she doesn't want that to be the reason people are watching the movie is because of her fine martial arts skills.
Yeah, right.
So she's always got like extra garments on. She's vests all the time.
Right.
She is doing everything she can to draw attention away from how stunning her figure is.
Right.
Because she wants to be known as a martial artist and not
a lady
who looks super hot in a bikini.
She's a great martial artist.
She also looks super hot in a bikini.
In other casting. We have to talk about this. We can't fail to mention that we ran into, for the first time in the first one, Martial Law. The movie's based after a character's nickname, Marshall. His name is Martial Law. He's a cop, one tough cap. It's played by Chad McQueen, son of Steve McQueen. Wow.
Where did all these guys have kids that decided to try to become karate guys?
Yeah, we've decided that we need to make some bracket and lump people into it that are the sons or brothers of somebody good, and then they end up stinking like Joe Estevez, but not Joe Estevez. Joe Estevez gets to sit out on the. Yeah, he's not a part of that because he's his own thing pretty much. But Chad McQueen. Now we just did Chris Mitchum, and then Chris Lemon, Jack Lemon's kid. Jackie and I watched Firehead.
And what's his the guy that killed the lady? His kid is in Radical Jack. Looks like Brandon Lee. He's a karate guy too.
Who? The guy that's the villain next to Buck Flowers.
It's Buck Flowers' kid in the movie is actually a second generation actor who tried to go karate guy too.
What guy killed the lady? William Shatner.
Edward Blake was the guy that killed his wife.
Edward Blake?
Not Edward Blake. Noah Blake's the guy I'm talking about.
Huh, okay.
Robert Blake.
Who the fuck is that?
You know who Robert Blake is?
No.
Oh, yeah, no. There's some filmstery. You read about Robert Blake for a day.
All right.
But anyway, yeah, Noah Blake is he looks the spitting image of Brandon Lee. They should have picked him up for The Crow, but he stinks. He actually, however, in terms of this, these four that we have right now, he's got to be the least doofy. But what helps him is he's across the screen from Billy Ray Cyrus.
Right.
So it erases it you're scent deaf to it. You're you're doofy deaf.
Right.
You can't see it because Billy Ray Cyrus he's got the market cornered on doof.
Well, speaking of doof, the character Martial Law is played by Chad McQueen in the first one, and then Jeff Wincott in the second one. And I would almost lump Jeff Wincott into that group, except for Jeff Wincott's kind of cool.
Yeah, and he's a better martial artist than most of these guys.
Right. But they made the first one in 1990, or released the first one in 1990. They released the second one in 1991, meaning that filming was essentially subsequent. And they were like, Chad McQueen, you are off of this set, buddy.
Yeah.
That's how bad Steve McQueen's son stinks. He couldn't be in Martial Law 2.
Well, I think there's another reason that subsequently, right at that same time, Van Damme is just exploding. Right?
Yeah, right.
And the one thing that's different between Chad McQueen and Jeff Wincott is that Jeff Wincott is cut of rock.
Right.
He is I think that's basically why they made the switch, is they're like, we got to have more muscles. Because there wasn't really a lot of difference in the acting and the martial arts ability of the two of them. There is a very big difference in the physique of the two of them.
Right. It's more like Chad McQueen is better suited to play Sean Astin in his biography.
Yeah, the Hobbit that somehow got fatter.
Love you, Sean. So I give them both a do. I think that they are awesome.
The first one is silly. The second one isn't as dumb, but it was still fun.
Right.
But the first one is so dumb that it's just great. I loved it.
Yeah, no, I liked them both. Billy Drago's in the second one. It's always awesome to see Billy Drago. Yeah. Who else was in there?
Evan Lurie's in the second
Lurie.
one. So that's an automatic do.
Right.
We're going to get scorned by people like, quit making me watch these Evan Lurie movies. Anything that he's in, we're like, it's got Evan Lurie.
Oh, he's the worst. Oh, he is just so terrible in this movie. He is bad. He's worse than any of them. And we're talking about Chad McQueen here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally. It's awesome. So check those out. They're both on Prime right now. There's a ton of Cynthia Rothrock on there. So if you guys are unfamiliar with Cynthia Rothrock, definitely do those. She was in our Mercenaries episode.
Yep.
Undefeatable. She was in. We did an episode on that, which I thought was kind of a disappointment.
We talked a lot about Night Vision, even though we didn't do an episode on it because we liked it so much.
Right.
Her and Fred Williamson and Robert Forster. That was a real big time do.
Yeah. So feel free, freelance, see some Cynthia Rothrock movies that we haven't talked about, and write us. Tell us which ones you like.
This one's hot shit. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Check her out.
Yeah. So there you go. That is the Unspectacular for this week. Any final thoughts, Sam? Apparently
I
not.
feel I was relatively spectacular. I am Charles Bronson.
It'll be Jackie's pick next week, as I said, so we'll see what happens with that. Enjoy your week and get to the chopper. Visit us at www.stinkermadness.com. Follow Stinker Madness on Twitter at Stinker Madness. Please rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. Thank you for listening, and get to the chopper.